Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. Now, if a question is asked to you, for example, where is Allah? Your answer gonna be Allah is above the seven heavens. Why? Because we say in the Holy Quran, we say, for example, amintu man fi samai an yakhsifa bikumul arda fa iza hiya tamur. Do you feel secure that he who is over the heaven will not cause the earth to sink with you, and then it should quake? Now here for this verse, it's related by Ibn Abbas, man fi sama, huwa Allah, he is God. And this is related in the commentary of Ibn Jawzi. Ibn Jawzi. Now, if we say, for example, Aliyun, Aliyun means, we say in Arabic, sifatun mushabbah, tadulu ala al-istimrar, is a character, but this character is continuous. We say, for example, Ahmad is fat. Ahmad is fat continuously. Whenever Ahmad is sick and he is destroyed by his disease and he gets slim, we can't utilize the word fat, but fat disappears. If we say, for example, Aisha is dignified, is a dignified woman. Aisha is dignified. If Aisha does wrong things all the time, the word dignified disappears, and we never utilize dignified. But for Allah, Aliyun, very high for his entity and high for his knowledge. Allah is high. Ali is high. Now the little child, when you ask him, where is Allah? He gonna point his finger above. Allah is high, over the sky, over. And sometimes we get confused by fi. If you say fi, or the meaning of fi is in, that does not mean it. But during the time of Fir'aun, the snakes of the magicians are swallowed by the one of Musa, alayhi salam, peace be upon him. And immediately they realized that this action is divine, and they turned to Muslim. And Fir'aun said to them, oh, I'm gonna torture you, and they answer, do what you have to do, or do what you wanna do it, just to do it. But we are true believers. And for example, in the Quran, the word fi is utilized. What does it mean? Over. On the date, for example. Fi jaz'in nahl. We say over. Fi. If we say, for example, fi sama and ala sama, the most eloquent is fil ardi. We don't say, for example, ala ardi or fil ardi, but we utilize fil ardi. Fil ardi is the most eloquent. But that does not mean, for example, undergroundly, or you have to bury the land, or you till the land, but we say fee. Fee. And the noble Quran is sent down from God. From God. But the transmitter was Jibril. Now, we say we have sent down the noble Quran. That means also God is above. God is above. But if we say, for example, God is everywhere, we say, for example, the knowledge of Allah is everywhere, grasps everywhere, everything. But we say Allah is over the seven heavens, as is related by Abu Hanifa. No one can deny this. Abu Hanifa testified this. It's very interesting to know it. But if we say God is everywhere, that means everywhere, everything is God, and this is not good. Or you deny God. But you can't say, for example, this computer is God, this table is God, this blackboard is God, and I wanna make supplication to God. That means you make contradictions, or you make a confusion. But God is one. God is above us. Laisa fawqaka shay. Laisa fawqaka shay. It's very interesting to know these things. But sometimes they utilize a hadith in Arba'un hadith for the 40 hadith. For example, if you worship, God gonna be your leg and your hand. But at the end of the hadith, we say that if you make God says, if you make a supplication to Him, He gonna respond to you. He gonna respond to you. But if you make and also if you make protection to God, and He gonna helps you. For example, if I make supplication, I don't say, for example, to my hand, give me a thing. My hand takes part in me, or my leg help me. But my leg, you and I are not the same. You and I are not the same. That's why at the end of the hadith we say, if he makes supplication. Now to understand a hadith or a verse, you need to know the beginning and the end. From the beginning to the end, you're going to understand. But for the explanation for the teaching of Noble Quran, we say that you don't translate or explain a verse without knowing the previous verse and the verse, the coming verse. It's very interesting to know these details. Now, the word ma means, for example, there are three meanings of ma musahaba, companionship, and maha help, and maha knowledge. And sometimes you say, for example, in a Quran, for example, whenever you are two, God is the third, or whenever you are three, God is the fourth. Now, by ijma, in the commentary of Ibn Kasir, that means, for example, ilman. 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 Why? Because God is great. We say, God is the greatest. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar means God is greatest. Is the greatest. For example, Allahu Akbar. Bi taqdir. We say taqdir. That alludes a thing. We cannot say, for example, God is everywhere. If I say, for example, God is in my stomach or God is in my heart, I limit God. And that means God is very little. And God is great. 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 God can't be in my heart. That means, for example, if I move here and there, if I move here and there, that means I, for example, what do we say again? I make God move. And this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. We try to know the details. We try to know the details. God is great. If we say, for example, whenever you are two, God is the third, that means, for example, His knowledge, about His knowledge. If we say, for example, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ, that means, for example, the angels. And God says, "Inna nahnu nazalna zikra." But God has sent the noble Quran throughout the angels. For example, on the day of Badr, we say, you haven't thrown. God says to the Prophet, you haven't thrown, but it's me that have thrown. And this, we try to know it. God has sent revelation throughout angels. Through angels. We should know this. Subhanaka la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.